This is replacing the starter on a 1988 S15 Jimmy. First step is to remove the negative battery cable. Some people debate which one to take off, but as long as you can't make a completed circuit when you're taking the starter off, either one should be fine. Alright, underneath the truck you see the old starter, and it is held on by these two bolts right here. I'm going to go ahead and loosen the starter and drop it down so we can get to the electrical connections. If you've got a skid plate, you're going to need to take it off. You can see that's the mount for that when it was on this truck. Okay, bolt number one. Bolt number two. There's the nose. Okay. Feeling for shims on the top. Now, trying to rotate the starter to get to the electrical connections. There may be an easier way to get to these two connections, but I've got the starter rotated beside the transmission, and I can see both of the terminals, so I'm going to try it from here. I finally ended up with a bunch of extensions and a universal joint stuck together so that I could get the terminals off of the starter. Alright, after I got the battery terminal off, I got the starter to a real good spot where you could see it. And the other thing is, all these nuts are metric, at least on my model. Okay, we are looking up, and this is where the starter goes. That is the flex plate, and the inspection cover stayed in place for the transmission. Right here we've got the starter that came out of the truck, remanufactured, and behind it we've got this Remy that I bought from Rock Auto. Bought it brand new so I don't have to return a core. Here are the two starters side by side. The Remy is the one, of course, that's newer and cleaner and no core charge. And then the one that came out of the truck. When I bought this particular starter, I decided to get one with the gear reduction. And the gear reduction results in a smaller motor and a lighter unit. If we compare the weight of the two, here's the old one, coming in at a whopping 9.6 pounds. Here is the new one, coming in at 8.2 pounds. So not a dramatic decrease in weight, but enough to be measurable. Okay, before I get started putting this back on, I make sure I know which size that this starter connections are. You've got an 8mm for the starter relay, and then you've got a 13mm for the battery connection. Now, I'm going to take a pause because these terminals look pretty good. You know, almost 30-year-old truck, but I'm still going to clean them up because with electricity, you want shiny to make the best connection. Got the starter bolts cleaned up. I like to put a little bit of anti-seize on things before I put it back together. And here it is after I take the gloves off. Alright, got my 2 wires reconnected. Now it's time to shove the new starter in there. Okay, an important step is to properly torque the starter bolts. And using a repair guide from my favorite auto parts store, they say 33 foot-pounds.